So IWC has a very unique founding story. Our founder, Florentine Ariosto-Jones, was a watchmaker and engineer from Rumney, New Hampshire, and he traveled to Schaffhausen in Switzerland to set up the International Watch Company to combine American manufacturing technology with Swiss craftsmanship to make the best pocket watch movements money can buy.
Well, first of all, happy birthday to IWC. It is for me great to be part of it here in Geneva, a very special event. And my best birthday memory must be the birthdays, multiple of them, when I've been racing, and especially when I've been doing well. I remember a race I've won on my birthday, birthday celebration and race win when it combines. It's a good feeling for me.
My favorite birthday memories? I try to forget all of them. Boy. Sadly, the one that sticks out is my 21st birthday, which is in the United States when you're legal age to drink. So there's a certain beverage I still can't smell or taste to this day because of that. So it depends on what your definition of memorable is. Any other ones? You know what? I kind of fly under the radar during the birthday season for me. I kind of try to sleep in and not let anyone know it's going. I remember when I was a kid, about 8 or 9, I was we were riding horses with a lot of my buddies and kind of dressed up as cowboys, and maybe that was foreshadowing for Westworld. I don't know.
Which of my years shaped my own personality? I guess the university years, like everyone, and some important films in my career, some important roles, some important film festivals and awards that I got. Those were the most enriching years.
Well, you think about all the things that you would like to change in history, all the bad things that happened that you would like to, try and do right and fix. But, that's not right. And then you think about the people that you've lost, and that would be to be able to say goodbye one more time. But really, I don't know. I think it's not about going into the past. It's about taking a step into the future and seeing what's ahead of us. So, really, I think it's all about the present. It's all about being in the now and looking forward to tomorrow and being the best person you can be and the best human being you can be.
Yeah, I would agree. I wouldn't take a time machine anywhere because I wouldn't want to change the road that's led me to now. I'm very happy to be here, to be with the man that I love, my soulmate, and to have a gorgeous little baby boy. I wouldn't want to change a thing. And if I took a time machine back, who knows what would happen to everything else past that point. So I'm putting the time machine in the parking space.
I'll probably travel to the future. I always like to think ahead and to think what's coming in the next day, in the next month, and I probably, if I had the chance, I will travel in the future and see what's going on in there.
Well, I think currently it's in fashion to be going back to the 80s. I would love to see the time. I mean, I was born in the 80s, but to be honest, I learned a lot about watchmaking today. It was great at the booth to see some of the history and to realize that IWC were actually the first to make in-house movements and produce an entire watch in-house. And it's really, really fascinating coming into the age of digital time and everybody checks their phone for the time, to realize that 150 years ago people were able to produce watches that were accurate to a second or two, and it was fascinating to see, and I really enjoy learning a bit more about the history.
Well, since I'm here now, it's 11 years I've been friends to IWC, so that's one of the first thing that comes to my mind. Then if I had to say something of my life, I would say the birth of my first daughter. That's something that changed my life, and the second one too, of course. But that was a different life from that moment on, a better one.
If I had a time machine, I would go back to, I don't know the exact date, but it would be to the set of Enter the Dragon, so I could watch Bruce Lee perform in the flesh.
The funny thing is that IWC saw me the first time because I was driving a car like 15 years ago, and I had a pilot on my hand, and it was a very strong watch, very man watch, and it was very funny because somebody from IWC called me and said, "Why do you wear a man watch?" And I say, because I like it. I like big watches and something like that. Then that's the reason why I started to buy this kind of watch since I was very young. And then they decided to ask me to become brand ambassador. So my memory is referred to that moment when I was driving and I was like a pilot with my IWC watch on my hand.
Oh, I might be traveling back to the 20s, either to the 20s Berlin or the 50s. It's really like cliche, and maybe the 50s in the States. All the great cars and the music and stuff. But can I go back? That's the question. I mean, that time machine is actually working, and I'm going to get back here. Or forward? No, I don't want to go forward. No, I'd go back. Let's go with the 20s. Let's go with the 20s in Berlin.
I would probably go back, probably to the 60s, and make sure the 50s and 60s with the civil rights movement and the women's movement, and want to make sure that all of those changes were, those systemic changes, those incredible, the opening up of what was possible in society for people of all races and all genders, that was a kind of a permanent change, and that we weren't going to swing back to where we are now and having to yet again have the same conversation.
My own favorite birthday memory. I think it was my 31st birthday. Sounds very weird, but a whole restaurant was taken over for me, and it was a surprise birthday party, and my favorite food and my favorite people and my favorite music. It was very simple, very small, but it was because my friends and family were there. It was the best birthday.
Oh my gosh. You know what? I've asked my friends this question just last week, and I couldn't really answer it myself. There are so many eras that I want to go back to, so many times in history that I wanted to witness, and I think it would be just so difficult, but maybe the 1800s were quite a special time because they were a transitional period. IWC was incepted then, so I'm sure a lot of changes were happening in the world as they are all the time, but that would be a great era.
I think the best birthday memories are not the ones that everybody is coming and it's supposed to be a big party. It's the ones that you're like 23 and nothing's supposed to happen, and then all of a sudden it's becoming a big party out of nothing. So out of the blue, these parties I like the most.
My favorite birthday memory. Well, at this stage, I feel like I'm more excited about other people's birthdays than myself. I love seeing other people's birthday. But for me, I love a good cake, nice group of friends and family around me. That's all I care about. And a little watch, or a little bling, or a little present, never hurts.
I would love to see where my mother and my father grew up back in the days. They used to play me like beautiful stories, and the fields where the olive oil they were taking, and the wine fields as well. Yeah, maybe back in the story in like South Spain and Central Spain. That's where I'm from, so it will be lovely to see it. Also in my hometown. Now it's a very touristic town in the Costa Brava, and back in the days it was a fisherman town, so maybe to see that will be also lovely.